or damage that could have come from a fired weapon, right?
Yeah, we didn't have access to the inside of the building, so that limited what we could do. And so we only looked for the evidence on the outside.
I know you did, but what I'm saying is to fully inform us, to say, hey, these holes in this window go to this hole somewhere else, would be to do a trajectory analysis.
That would help.
It's kind of like wheel path analysis, where you would, it's almost like geometry, finding where the hole is, and you backtrack to see where the round could have been fired from.
Sure.
But that wasn't done.
I don't know.
Because that wasn't your remit.
No.
But what we do know is that there were no spent shell casings found on the south of that building, right?
Yeah, we didn't find anything on that side.
Oh.
Or I think the east and the south.
And you didn't find any in the field from the line search from the culvert inside the fence towards the building, right? Let's look at the map.
So if you're talking about the field between...
This one here, that I'm indicating here.
Yeah, no, we didn't find...
You didn't find any there?
No.
You didn't find any on the way here. They were just focused on this parking lot, and you didn't find any on the south, right?
Correct.
Just to confirm.
Yes.
Thanks, Agent. I appreciate it. Don't know further questions. Pass the witness.
Agent, I don't know if I need to show you the picture. I will if I need to. You did. Your testimony was, I believe, exhibit number 6, casing number 6, seemed too far to be from the parking lot. There was one exhibit that you said that.
Looking at that perspective, I couldn't see the parking lot from that picture. But if you look at it this perspective, I can see that, it could be. It's just a matter of perspective. I need to take a look at all the pictures together.
Maybe if you took a look back, can you tell us where exhibit 6 was on that photograph? About?
Somewhere around here, there's a metal plate in the sidewalk. And so here's the parking lot. The ground was somewhere around here. If the person, if you're saying, if you're tying this to the broken window, because you got to look at the totality of everything, if you're thinking that maybe the guy was shooting here, or somebody was standing here for the round to be there, it's a little bit difficult.
Okay. May I approach her?
Sure.
So if, my understanding is you have casings along here all the way up to here, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
And I'm not talking about direction because you said we're not saying 1 through 6.
Yeah.
I'm saying from here all the way up to here somewhere.
Yes.
Is that correct? And those can be shot, and it helps you a little bit if you know where the bullet ends up, right?
Yes.
I mean, if I'm shooting this way, then if it rejects right, the casing will be
I
there.
object to leading judge.
Is that?
Sustained, to rephrase it.
Could you tell us how the impact a bullet has on an object helps you place where a casing is?
Yeah, it sort of gives you a line, right? Because in order to have a line, what do you need? 2 points, right? So if you have a point of impact and you have a casing, you can use that to approximate, hey, that's your 2 points to make a line. What direction was the shot being taken? Okay?
And if the shot is being fired into an open field.
Yeah, that's a lot more difficult because now you don't know because you're not going to have an impact. So how do you know where the direction is where the shot's being taken? You only have the location of your casing. Where's your other point to see where it went?
So if we have impacts in the windows and we have casings along here, that can help you.
Yes, yes.
If you have casings here, does that tell you if the impacts in the windows came from those casings, or if those casings could be a result of firing into a field?
Well, you don't know, but your best guess would be that it was being shot into the window because you have a broken window.
If you have casings over here, would they explain the broken window?
Sure.
If they explain the broken window, then these casings could be fired into an open field.
They could.
And if you have impact over here, could that also tell you what direction he was shooting?
Sure, because now you have 2 points, right? You have your casing and you have an impact spot. 2 points can make a line.
But you didn't look for impact points, you looked for casings.
We were looking for casings. We didn't have much access to the school itself, so we tried to stay out of the Rangers' way. Texas Rangers were the lead agency.
So Brent, the Texas Rangers would be looking for impact along these other windows.
They had access to all the buildings.
Or other, I said windows, but I mean other buildings, parts of buildings, they would look for those.
They had access to the buildings. We were focused on the field and on the grass and outside.
Sure. And so casings plus impact would give you a better decision as to where those bullets were going.
Sure.
And that sometimes takes not just your testimony, but somebody else's.
Sure.
And the one thing, though, about these 21 casings, can you tell us, does that indicate to you there's been 21 explosions?
Those are the casings we found.
That means a fired bullet, correct? Mm-hmm. Which makes a sound.
Yes.
It alerts law enforcement.
So 21 casings means there were at least 21 shots, because there could be more. I mean, if we didn't find it, then we don't have it, right?
Right.
But 21 casings means there was 21 shots at least.
Okay. And you've been around gunshots?
Sure.
Audible?
I'll be object to leading, Judge.
Are they audible?
Overruled.
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Well, mate, very briefly, Agent. Judge, my approach.
Yes.
Very briefly. So, I think you said that. So we're looking at state 6, right? I think. Well, we're not. We're looking at the. Let's look at what we've got here. So, your testimony is that your best guess is that these casings that were found to the southwest side of this parking lot here were fired into this building based on the evidence, right?
My best guess is that because there was a trail of casings, that the person was going that direction. Now, if you look at the whole scene, if you see impacts, then you got to say, okay, where am I going to attribute that to? Where can I attribute it to? What are the possibilities, right? And so that could be a possibility, yes.
Because you're just one piece of this whole part. Like Mr. Turner said, your testimony is going to, the jury's going to put it together with others, because we know that unfortunately eventually the shooter enters this doorway here. You know that, right?
I learned that later, yes.
Yeah. So you know that.
Yes.
So it's possible this person is traveling, shooting these windows before he enters through that door, right?
Sure.
Okay. And so the prosecutor talked to you about this walkway here, right? Do you know the distance between roughly, I don't mean to give you my back, Agent, between the end of the building and that walkway?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, we did, no. Give me an estimate.
Looking at that, okay, if you take a look at the length of the cars are probably about 15, 20 feet, depending on so maybe about, how far to where?
The end of the building to this walkway here.
Okay, so it's about the length of a car, maybe about 10, 15, 12 feet, something like that.
Okay, fair enough. And so I wanted to pick up on something. Do you mind if I can do it from here. So hypothetically, right, the prosecutor was saying, because you didn't have access to the buildings, right?
No.
So you didn't have any access to these buildings. The prosecutor talked about, rounds went over here, right?
Yeah, good, yes.
I think he probably took it off the screen. I think that's what he did. So to know, let's pretend for a minute there was a round the way from here. Without doing a trajectory analysis, I guess, that could have come from here, could have come from here. We just don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because, like we said, the best guess is that from your evidentiary examination of the scene and the clues that were left behind is that these rounds were fired into this building.
It could have been, yes.
And we also know you didn't find any evidence of shots being fired on the east side of the building, right?
That's correct.
But you found evidence of bullet holes either exiting or entering these windows here on the east, right?
There were bullet holes in the windows, yes.
In the windows. So you don't know if they're coming in or out from the building, right?
That's correct.
But what we do know is you didn't find any evidence of shots being fired in.
That's correct.
So we could possibly deduce from that shots are being fired out, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so if rounds are being fired from inside this building, they could be going anywhere, right?
Sure, I was not in the building.
Right. You know, from my approach again, Jeff. So, my last question to you, Agent, is so on this overview, we can agree that, roughly speaking, most of the shell cases are found along this border of the parking lot.
I don't remember if it's most,
A lot.
because there were quite a few along the windows.
There was, yeah, you're right. They're right. There were quite a few under these windows.
Yes.
Because you probably didn't recover everything that was fired because you did it outside, right?
We recovered whatever casings we found on the outsides. We recovered.
And a lot of them were close up to the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was, roughly speaking, a group of casings on the south end of this parking lot.
Yeah. So out of the 21, I think there were about 6 or 7 from there, somewhere around there.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yep. So what we do know is that the person, that your best guess is they're fired into this building here.
Well, based on the broken windows, but that's, I don't have any more information than what I saw there at that point.
But you didn't find any spent cartridges to the right of this parking lot, did you? Further down to the south.
No, I don't think we found anything further south.
Found nothing further south of
Yeah.
this. Nothing further south of this at all.
I don't think so.
Right. So the cartridges that are found in this parking lot cannot be the result of someone firing that way further south, right? Because that's not that.
Can you rephrase that?
So this is where your 6 or 7, I think you said,
Yes.
spent cartridges were found in a rough group down here.
Correct.
And a rough group is going to give you an indication, of where the shooter was, right?
Yes.
And it's generally to the right-hand side of where the shooter was.
Generally, yes.
Generally, the shells are generally to the right-hand side of where the shooter was.
Yes.
Right? So if the shells are here, and your best guess is that they've been fired into these windows because of the defects and the holes in the windows,
Sure.
right? Then those shells can't be the result of someone firing further to the right, because you would have found shell casings further to the right, correct?
So,
Further south?
I can't tell where all of the shots went. Correct, right? I can't tell that. But I don't even know how many bullet holes went into the window, right? So out of those 7 shots, I can't give you a number of how many were shot towards the window, or I can't rule out either if any were shot out. All I can say is we saw casings and we saw broken windows. So you have to be limited to what you can say, right? I can't just make the leap and say, well, there were 3 shot this way and 3 shot that way, and I don't know. So we have to be measured a little bit in what we can say. So we have the grouping of casings, and we have broken windows. Basically, that's about what we can say. With what my role was, I was not able to see inside the building. To go inside the building and see, okay, let's count how many impacts hit the wall, right? So I don't know.
So Agent, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm kind of asking for a yes or no question. You understand that, right? Okay. So you said a lot there, so I'm going to ask you some more questions. Right?
Sure.
So it's yes or no, right? Okay. Your evidence you collected, in your professional opinion, it looks like there's a group of spent cartridges at the bottom end, the south end of this parking lot. Right?
Yes.
That's a yes. And so your best guess, based on this evidence, is that those rounds were fired into these buildings.
Yeah, most likely. Yes.
Most likely, because maybe it was me. I wasn't asking you where the rounds went.
Okay.
I wasn't asking that. I was asking where the cartridges landed. Because we can agree that when someone fires a weapon, it's a right-handed weapon. In this case, right, I don't mean to point at you, the shell casing gets ejected to the right-hand side.
Yes.
Right? So if somebody is firing a weapon, let's say down here, to the south here, it's most likely, based on physics and what we know about firearms, that the cartridge is going to get ejected to the right-hand side to where I'm standing, somewhere around there.
Yeah, because the ejection port's on the right.
Because the ejection port's on the right, and the ejector claw's on the right, and it pings the cartridge out. So you'd have found, if somebody was standing here, let's say where I'm indicating here